what you and I going to do when, this is the most emotional topic I ever spoke about, what you and I going to do when you do everything so that you can grow. And growth means personal and business, spiritual, psychological, mental. You do everything you can so that you can grow. But all you feel is a truckload of shit on top of you, beneath you, around you, within you, and growth just isn't there. And when you see a little bit of growth, it comes at a cost, which you realize it's unsustainable. For how long can I keep trying to grow? Because in this way I can. And you look around and it seems that others are growing faster and you want to grow and you say, I've got great intentions. I've got great vision, I'm on a mission. Why is my growth isn't there? You see, there is good news and bad news. Good news is you can't stop growing. You can only postpone it. The bad news is the more you postpone it, the more painful it feels. So what to do? Well, we have to stop trying to grow, because growth is not you and I becoming bigger. Growth is I and you dying so that that which is within me and you can grow. And you might say, who are you to teach me about growth? I'm a nobody. And I absolutely don't feel in anyhow entitled or fully confident that I've grasped the full understanding of what growth is. But there was a moment in my life when I stopped trying to grow. And I realized one thing, that growth is not on me and you. We can set ourselves for growth. We can use what's around us, what's given, even that, all that bad, which seemingly is bad around us, we can only let that to shape us. And I started to let that to shape my path in front of me, so that the growth started to feel less painful. And I repeated it, and I repeated it, and I repeated it, and then I started to help others, and then I realized this is something gold. Now, it might not be the ultimate gold, but it might be useful for you where you are right now. And if that happens, I'm happy. Well, I will share with you 8 values. 4 of them are not as powerful, where they are very powerful in their stage, at their stage of growth, and other 4 are very good at a different stage of growth. Before we dive into those 8 values, so that you can start to move figures on the board and start to say, well, okay, where's this, what's that, where I put this, where I put that, where am I using, where am I going? Before we go into that, I want to use an analogy. And probably the most part of this video is going to be this analogy, because the values are, there are the values which you will reflect upon after you watch this video. So probably that will be at the end. So look, it seems like a tree, right? I tried my best to make it to look like a tree. There is a tree. And the tree produces, not all of them, but most of them produces fruits. They're producing fruits. Now, the fruit is tasty and the fruit looks good, especially when the fruit is ready and it comes on a table, in a bowl, and it's there on a table, and everybody in the house looks at these fruits and say, wow, especially those fruits which are the first fruits of the season, the first grapes. And, oh, we have grapes in the house. They look so good. Everybody's happy and they look good. Now imagine this, you are that fruit. So you're the child. So the other trees took care of you as they could. We'll talk about that. As they could, so that you are the fruits of their labor, of their effort, of their everything they try to do and accomplish and become. And we are fruits and we look good from the outside, but as you well know, a fruit can't stand for too long on the table looking good. A fruit has a purpose. The fruit has two purposes at the same time. One is to be useful, eaten by whomever enjoys the fruit. And the second purpose is that its seed can do something else. We'll talk about something later, which we can already say to become a tree, which will produce more fruits later about that. Now, when you look at yourself with the temperament, with your personality and everything you've got, you're like that fruit which is in that bowl in the house. And everybody is just looking at them with appetite, and your time will come to be eaten or to fall on the ground. Your time will come sooner or later. Somebody goes through that awakening moment of revelation moment. They're teenagers, sometimes in their 20s, sometimes in their 30s, sometimes in their 80s. Your time, trust me, will come when you will have to realize you are not just there in that bowl of fruit to look good. The fruit looks good, and the fruit is not aware yet that within the fruits there are the seeds. Now, 98%, 99% of the fruit is the fruit, but there is 1 or 2% which is the seed. Now, you and I sometimes realize that what we've got from that tree, we think that what we've got, that's what we are. That fruit looking good, we think that that's who we are. Looking good, and everything seems all right. Everything just seems amazingly. Everything is perfect. You are a beautiful fruit, fresh, juicy, with a leaf also which is still looking green. And life seems all right, and everything seems in its place. But the fruit can't stand there for too long. Sooner or later, the fruit will have to die, so that its seed can go and fall into the ground. If we are attached to how we look into that image of looking good and feeling all right and feeling everything figured out, when the time comes for the seed to go under the ground, or when the time comes for ourselves to start the transformation, to start to fulfill our purposes in life, we think that the fruit should stay with us so that everything seems figured out and everything seems all right. We want to have the same sense of control when we are like a fruit in a bowl looking good. We want to have the same sense of control and figured outness when we go under the ground, when we start our own journey in life. Whether in business, you're a solopreneur, you're trying to build, means that that's all right. You just got under the ground. You just realized that the fruit must go. You want to become something more. You just became aware that there within you, there is a seed. And that seed must grow. You can't stop it. You think eating the fruit will kill the seed? No, you can buy a few kilograms of grapes and enjoy it, and you'll see. Try it for yourself. The seeds are gonna be just fine. It can't kill the seed, because the seed must grow. You and I have only one mission in life, one and one only, to grow. You can't stop it. And when the seed goes under the ground, there is darkness. You are longing for the tree. You are longing for having everything figured out, being in that bowl, in that house, looking fresh and juicy. And from that, very soon, just in a few days, the fruit just keeps being all right on the table, and then boom, you wake up one morning and the fruit, boom, starts to go bad. Boom, that's what happens for ourselves. Sometimes the changes, they just start to fall on us, and we look up and we say, wow, what is going on? Why is this happening to me? Everything seems to go against me. Well, no. Let me tell you a story. When I was a kid, we were, I could say poor, but we had enough. I had one pair of pants for one school year. One pair of pants and one pair of shoes, maybe two t-shirts, maybe two, not t-shirts, shirts, but one pair of pants, one pair of shoes. My father always told me, this is 1 year, one pair of shoes. How are we gonna take care of them? That's how we were going to end the year. So one day I decided to let me make my money. So I was 11 or 12. And my parents started to have, to cultivate greenhouses. And we used to grow their cucumbers in the end of the winter. I used to grow in East Europe, Moldova, next to Ukraine and Russia. So the winters are very cold. So we used to grow cucumbers in the greenhouses so that we can sell them. So that was an additional stream income of money. But I say, let me make my money. So I made my little greenhouse, just very little, like 4 feet per 2 feet, a very small one. And do you know what we used in order to make the agricultural process, the growth process to be faster? Animals shit. If you use the animal shit, you have no idea how much does that grow. That's the best fertilizer for almost anything that grows on the earth. And we sometimes are under the same in the same moment. Like lots of bad things are happening to us, and we're wondering why. I just wanted to grow. Well, it's very similar to this. And when the seed goes into the ground, under the ground, there is cold, you're alone, you're longing the tree, you're longing to look good, you want to go back. My dear friend, when a lot of shit comes on top of you and beside you and around you, don't run away from it. I perfectly understand you exactly how it feels. Amazingly, perfectly, I know how it feels. It feels like hell, and I feel compassionate for you, but I congratulate you. Don't resist. Just don't resist. Just relax. Just stop trying to bring the fruit under the ground, because that's not the fruit's purpose. That's the seed, the fruit seed purpose to go into the ground. And you're just right now probably, or maybe you're about to get out from under the ground, where you are about in this process of dying and letting go the past. Don't resist it. There's a quote in business, I don't know who said, don't remember. When you have to eat shit, don't nibble. Excuse me for vocabulary. Just don't nibble. Just let it happen. Now you might say, so how do I let it happen? Just stop trying to be all right. Just stop trying to repeat or to look like others, because you look back from under the ground, in the darkness, and you're by yourself, and you look around and you might see a little bit just through it, some glimpses of light, and you see, wow, there is some light out there, but also see others being on that table, looking so good, having everything figured out. I want to be as soon as possible. Now, some of us, here's the transition moment. Some of us want to go back from where they came from. They want to repeat what they've done before so that they could look as they used to look before, and they suppress the purpose of that gift which God gave you. They suppress it. They don't want to fulfill the purpose of the seed which is within them, so that they can become what they're meant to become. And that's a tree which will produce hundreds of thousands more, even more fruits. And sometimes in this transitioning moment, we want to go back to look good. Or you can switch and start looking forward and say, I might also start letting the roots to go in this ground and fuel the energy from all that shit we mentioned before, so that it can fuel, it can nurture your growth, so that you can start growing and go towards that light which is from out of the ground. You can see glimpses of it and start going up. By just letting everything around you to help you to grow. And doesn't matter if this is about personal growth, mental growth, emotional growth, business growth. All the knowledge, the insights, the books you're reading, and all the stories you hear, they're not there to tell you who you are meant to be. They're there to help you to become aware of what's around you, of what's happened for you, so that you can say, oh, this is that, this is a fertilizer, there's the light, there's the seed, there's the purpose. All right, let me accompany this movement, this growth process, and stop resisting it. Now is the time to share the 4 values, which are the pushers. I call them the pushers. There are 4 pushers and there are 4 pullers. The pushers are pain. This is the one pusher force. Sometimes when we're in this transitioning moment, we have to become aware of this pain. And for short term, just to begin, pain is a great pusher. It starts pushing you forward. It's painful. And you say, I don't want to stay under the ground. I'm meant for more. Amazing. That pain is there, but don't stay into that pain. Acknowledge it. The second one is the need. You are in that phase where the seed within you needs something more than you, something which is outside of you. Now, you might confuse it with your neediness, but where does that need is rooted in? Is your need rooted in the past? You need to look like others or how you used to look before? Or is this need to become more towards who you could become? What's the need? But it is a very good force pusher before you start rising, before you really start to see the growth. You got to see what's the need and start to realize why. What do I actually need? Do I really need so much? Do I need? While the fruit is dying, if your need is not in the seed, the need of the seed to become a tree, and you use the neediness to look like a fruit, well, one is too late because the fruit is gone. Now is the seed's time to grow. And 2, you're going to prolong the pain because your neediness is pulling you back. Neediness is a killer. Make sure you know what's the neediness. Is there a need to fulfill a purpose, or is a need to look, to impress, to appear, so on and so forth. The number 3 is the sense of mission, that you are into a mission. Sometimes you don't know why everything happened for you, to you in the past, and you don't know yet of who you could become. But you are in that phase where you realize that you are on a journey. And you say, well, if that happened before and something great could happen later, or something worse might happen first so that something great can happen later, you become aware of the fact that there is a mission for this seed within me, and I'm not just here to understand and to study others and just look at others and trying to impress others. So there is the mission sense within you, and I know it is within you, that sense of mission. Don't suppress it. Let it to push you forward, even if where you're going is not clear. Let that sense of mission to push you forward and to burn within you. Let it burn. Don't suppress it. Don't stop it. And the number 4 is the drive. You know, when you are just driven to, and you might be feeling driven by trying to replicate what you once looked like. And that's a straight path towards pain and pain and pain and pain. That's not growth. That's exactly when failing looks like growth. And you think the more painful it is, the more existential and the more transformational is the growth. Well, growth is very painful only if you resist it. The more you resist it, the more painful it feels. And the less you resist it, the more growth feels natural. Sometimes the drive is that force which already connects what you once used to look like a ready fruit, and you have no idea how it is going to happen and how am I going to accomplish and where I'm going to look and what choice I'm going to make. But I know within me there are thousands of other fruits. So you start to connect your past fruit with your future fruits and say, there must be a way, there must be a way. And you're driven by that life force to get to that moment where you can start to produce more fruits. Don't suppress it. Now, all these four, some people are attached to them for too long. They are good until the seed goes under the ground. And when the seed is under the ground, the seed starts to do what the seed does. It starts growing. Just stop looking backward. Just stop trying to tell others, to other trees in the past, to tell them, hey, you should have made a better fruit. Well, their purposes were not to make you a ready tree. The trees doesn't produce trees. Trees produce fruits. The fruit dies, the seed goes under the ground, and then the seed grows. And if you are in that transformation phase, under the ground, under pressure by yourself, don't blame the trees that hadn't made ready trees already. Their purpose was to produce fruits. Now, your purpose is to abandon that fruit, is to die towards that image which you were ready, and to start to let the seed to do what the seed does, to grow. So when you come in this second era of your growth, you have other four values which you might take in consideration for your growth. Now, there is a great interconnection between these four and those four I will reveal just a little bit later. The number one is the sense of purpose. When you start to figure it out that your parents, your families, your past friends' purpose was not to make you ready. They were there to push you so that you can start to wonder and ask what ready would mean to me. What's the purpose of everything is happening to me, for me, within me, around me? And when you start to take in consideration this value, you can only start to take that in consideration when you start accepting the world the way it is. Everybody will have their judge. It's not your job and my job to judge our trees which produced us as fruits. Our job is to enjoy the time when we are a fruit, looking good, everything seems figured out. And from there, to discover our purposes of the seed which is within me and you. And God has put a purpose within you. That's your seed. And a fruit has many seeds. And you might be confusing a little bit which of these seeds are going to go under the ground and will become trees, where sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you think these seed is going to become a great forest. Sometimes you think that or these. But again, these desire, this need to figure it out before the time comes, which seed within you will become the tree and the forest, again is holding you in pain, because you want to be that ready fruit which knows everything. So you want to, again, to have it all figured out. Oh, I might become this, I might become that. You have no idea what you'll become unless you start to let yourself to become what God has already set for you, and that purpose, the sense of purpose, is within you and me. And things sometimes just serve for a period of time in our life. Don't get too much attached to it. Don't get attached to it at all. Now, is this easy or successful? Who am I to teach you to do that? I struggle with the same thing. I figure out things where I'm attached to. If I speak about these things, here's one thing I want to share with you. If I share things about purpose and knowledge and life and mission, Doesn't mean that I have figured it out all. All I'm saying, I'm just sharing what I've observed, and it might be useful to you, it might not be useful to you. And I don't want it to be critically useful to you. I want you to find what is already within you. I want just to ignite some sparks of inspiration so that you can find the seed which is within you. Just to be clear, I'm not the one who knows it all, and I'm not just having it figured out. I don't think I'll ever be. I don't want to ever be. Will we ever understand the depths of God's wisdom? No. But we can only discover it day by day and let God to do the work which God knows to do and set already within me and you. The second value I will invite you to pay attention to is the sense of the vision, the value of the vision. Start imagining, because you already have maybe you have a distorted image of what a vision might look like, but don't look in the past. Stop looking into the past and start wondering, but what kind of tree do I want to become that produce many fruits? That's why it's very important when you are undergoing this process of rebirth, don't resist it. But you can decide how much they want to nurture my wisdom. What do I want to focus on? The light, which is, I already see glimpses of it, or do I want to focus more on this, oh my God, it's so dark, I'm so alone here? Because if you focus on these, then you're not spending your gifts imagining the tree you could become. Number 3 is the value of the desire. Desiring is a God's gift. Now, your desires might come from your heart, which would be your emotional realm. Your desires can be selfish, your desires can be anything, but your ability, which becomes your capability to desire, its intensity, its direction, it's a God gift. Now you have to become very wise at where your desires come from. From trying to impress, from the desire to look like, desires of your emotions, desires of pleasure, or desire to serve, to become, to inspire. Different, but the ability is God's gift. And the reward, it's a very powerful value. You'll be rewarded, but you don't know when, and you don't know how, and you don't know how much. But it's a great value to know that everything you do will have a result, an impact. And you might be rewarded for everything you do bad, or for everything you let it to happen, and you stop trying to make it to look good and let it to happen. The power of the reward also gives a lot of responsibility. That, wow, everything I do have consequences. So if I could be rewarded now for everything I've done, what would be the reward? That's a great value to look forward and to understand that you are carrying on your shoulders a huge responsibility for those after you to come. Your kids are going to marry other people's kids. What you do, who you become is going to impact who your kids are going to become and how they will be on their growth journey. That has an impact. As everything happened for you and to you in the past had influenced your growth process. These are the 4 values, the pullers. These are the pushers, and those are the pullers. My dear friend, stop trying to grow, because a fruit can't know how the tree is going to become. That's the seed job. But in order for the seed to go under the ground, the fruit must die. The idea of a beautiful fruit must go away. So ask yourself, where am I attached to something I used to look, where I thought I am? And just start questioning them. Bring the mighty self-doubt at the boarding session, meeting session. Let it have its place. And don't try to not let the pain of the self-doubt to have too much influence on you. And let the self-doubt to have its own place. without pushing or pulling it too much. And try to see, because I know you can, everybody can, where you're still pushing yourself backward rather than stop trying to make the growth and start stopping, suppressing, or postponing your growth, whatever growth means to you right now. Because sometimes growth is personal growth, sometimes it's mental growth, sometimes emotional growth, sometimes growth is doing more, is becoming more, is inspiring more, is producing more, is selling more, is writing more, is speaking up more. Sometimes growth is shutting up a little bit more. Growth is different in every stage, and growth is not a linear process. I wish you all the best, God's blessing, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.